So I think that's the biggest part of his life. My dream when I was a kid was to win a green jacket. I wanted to be the youngest Masters champion ever. And I was like really good at like 14, 15. So I thought people were telling me like I had a chance.
Yeah.
And so, I golfed 10, 12 hours a day, every day. It's all I did.
Growing up thinking you're, just really going after it with golf, playing 10 hours a day. Like, do you feel like you've always had like that level of focus on something for your entire life, or have there been like gap periods where you're not locked in with something?
No, it's always been something.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not good.
Yeah.
Sometimes the focus gets on, partying and music festivals and girls and I've always been hyper focused on whatever it is that I'm obsessed with at the moment. But yeah, the general theme has been golf, poker. I got obsessed with comedy when I moved to Austin, and that's just I had to put that on the back burner when I realized what comedy was.
Well, yeah, the thing is, with poker and stand-up, they both involve very similar hours. Like, you're busy at 8 p.m.
Yeah, I was just really naive. Like, you move to the city and you have all these open mics and you see all these famous comedians and you're like, oh, I can do that. Like, I want to do comedy. It's like, no, comedy is every day, all day. It's your entire life for years, and it's going to be shit.
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
Well, what's that? There's that. Could you pull this up, Brandon? There's like the Alex Hormozy uninformed optimism, informed pessimism thing. It's like the 6 stages of like a business. And the first stage is uninformed optimism.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, it's going to be really easy. And then the next stage is informed pessimism.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, this is
I see how hard this is going to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like, but then there's something, right? Yeah. So it's uninformed This is perfect. Click on that. Yeah.
Entrepreneurs start with excitement, believing an idea will be an instant success. Informed pessimism. They soon realize the complexity and challenges of execution.
Then you have the crisis of meaning, just the valley of despair, make or break moment. And then it turns into informed optimism.
Can I just say, like, reading, we were talking about dyslexia.
Yeah.
Before we started this. Like 12 or 13-year-old JC, I would have had a panic attack.
Having to read that out loud.
Having to read that out loud, I would have been in like full sweat.
Well, we'll start doing the podcast live, so if you fuck it up, you gotta keep it in. Okay, so then you go to informed optimism. Those who persist begin to understand what works and refine their approach, sustainable success, and achievement and expansion. So I would say right now with stand-up, I am coming out of the crisis of meaning and starting to get towards informed optimism. I feel like
which number are you at?
I think I'm at 4, if I had to guess. Because like stand up, same boat, right? I start out, I'm like, there's open mics, I can fucking hit this hard, I can just figure it out. And then you're like, oh shit, this is really hard, I'm kind of eating it. You have some fucking great shit happen. I had all the videos go viral, and then I moved here, kind of fell apart for a little bit. That's the crisis of meaning. And I think, at least I hope, I feel like I'm on 4, but who knows? I might be. You can always just lock back in and fall into 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think I'm on 5 with poker.
Consistently leads to steady growth and financial results.
Consistency leads to steady growth and financial results. I mean, I'm not saying that like, poker's not really about how good you are. It's about how good the games are that you're playing in. So I think we talked about this before, maybe on your pod. But yeah, it's the game quality that you're playing really matters. So being the best player at the table is a massive advantage. And so I'm 10 years into my poker career, and I've gotten to a point where I'm consistently the best player at the table. And that's not saying like I'm like a world-class poker player, but I'm able to get in games where I'm the best.
Yeah.
Or create games and invite friends where I'm one of the better players at the table. And when that happens, your win rate skyrockets because you're not having other people put you in really tough situations. You're the person putting applying pressure on the other players. And so you're not getting put in these really difficult spots that lowers your win rate.
Makes sense. I mean, because it's like, dude, I think, is there a point that you hit with poker where you get so successful that it gets difficult to get into the games that you want to be in? Where you have the opposite problem where it's like, yeah, I can't get an invite because people think that I'm going to just fucking dominate. Like, you get too good.
Yeah, that's reserved for like the elite super pros.
Mm-hmm.
That everyone knows their name. You know, they win all the money in tournaments. They have a reputation of winning all the money in the high stakes nosebleeds games. And so like when they walk into a room, they're gonna have a hard time getting into any decent sized game, or especially private. Well, once your name's known as like a crusher or a super pro, yeah.
Well, it's getting kind of crazy where it's like I'm watching you play, and then I'm starting to try to like get more intel about poker for the podcast, and so I'm watching these videos, and I'm watching this video about the Tom Dwan controversy with this from
the Dirt Challenge,
yeah,
like a million years ago.
Well, yeah. So I'm watching this video last night, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, one of the guys that he's betting against is Jungle Man, and I'm like, oh fuck, JC just played heads up with that guy.
That was like early 2000s, right?
So Jungle Man's been around forever.
Yeah. Jungle Man and Tom have been around for, maybe 15, 20 years. I think Tom might be like 40. Yeah. I'm not sure. But yeah, they've been around a long time. They've been known to be, some of the best poker players in the world their whole career. And so yeah, they're going to have a difficult time getting into certain games. So they either have to find people that have so much money that they don't care to let them play,
mm-hmm.
Or they can use their fame a bit, and people like want to play with them even though they know they're the best. They just want to say that they had the chance to play against the best.
Yeah, but you clearly you're getting something out of playing with people that are like really, really good because you're consistently at the table with Jungle Man and Doug Polk and
yeah. Well, you can learn.
Bill Perkins.
Like you can learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
So like every time I'm at a table at a live stream or private game or whatnot, and I'm playing with someone that I've been watching play on TV for 15 years, like I'm gonna study their game. I'm gonna study their bet sizes. And I'm gonna try to learn everything I can. Like I got to play with Phil Ivey, day 2 of the main event, 5-6 years ago, and it was a treat. Like it's just a random draw. I saw that Phil Ivey was on my left, which is a disaster.
Yeah.
Because I regard him as the best to ever play, really. But it was also like a great opportunity, and I think we played like 7 or 8 hours together, and I was watching him like a hawk, every single thing he did, just to try to learn and to help improve my own game. And there was a few things that I picked up on that were awesome, that were like really helpful for me. Just his focus, like. The way he plays cards, and there's a lot to gain from it.
So what's like the advantage in terms of learning from somebody, right? Like what do you get from sitting at a table with a guy that you couldn't get from just watching them play online?
Well, online's completely different. There's no body language.
Not by online, I don't mean playing a game.
Like
I mean like watching like a clip of somebody watching Doug Polk or watching.
I mean, it's somewhat similar, but you can't really see the whole. You can't see the whole table. So like when you're watching a stream or poker on TV, the camera's like zoomed in on their face. You can't see what they're looking at. But yeah, I mean, you can still...
And you can't control the cuts either, so it might cut away from them in a moment where you might be like...
I mean, it's still pretty close to the same. I mean, you're getting the bet sizing and the action on every street, and so they're both good ways to study better players.
And so, like, he's playing at the table, Phil Ivey, like, I'm sure when he's playing at the World Series of Poker, everyone or a large percentage of the people at the table are just like locked in, kind of watching him, trying to learn from
he
him.
did this one thing that now I think a lot more people are aware of it and that do it, and I'm sure the sharper players have always done it, but I wasn't aware of it, and then watching him play this hand, I was like, oh shit, like that was really sharp. There's a lot of levels to what he's doing. It was a situation where the river completed a four flush and four card straight. So that means like one card makes a flush and one card makes a straight. So it's like, let's say it's
3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5, 6, 10 with 4 diamonds. Let's say like the flop is like 5, 6, 10, and the turn's a 4 and the river's a 3. Okay, and there's 4 diamonds, 4 to a straight, 4 to a flush, and he's facing a big bet. This guy makes like a large wager, and Ivy goes into the tank for a bit, and he counts out a raise like multiple times, and as he's like counting out the raise to raise this guy,
he's watching the guy's body language.
Yeah, he keeps looking up at the guy over and over and over. And then he puts his chips back in his stack, and he grabs the chips to just call, and he calls. And then he turns over his hand. I think he had like a 5-6, which was 2 pair. So seeing his hand and then watching his action before was like, that's really sharp. Like,
so he's doing it over and over again to try to get a feel for what the guy actually has.
Yeah, he's acting like he's going to raise, and he's counting out the chips, and he's staring the guy down, like, and he's in the tank for a while. 98% of the poker community, like, they don't think about doing that because they have a hand, like 2 pair on a 4 flush and 4 straight board never raises. There's no reason to raise. If the guy's bluffing, you have the best hand.
Yes.
So you have showdown value. And if you raise, you're only gonna get called by a better hand.
Mm.
So there's 0 reason to raise. But then he
that actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Brandon, did you just get some intel for the home poker games on that one? Because I feel like I just did.
Yeah. I'm taking notes. I'm gonna take everyone's money in this scene.
Yeah, it was just really sharp, and it just, it's like a little insight to how much detail like the best players in the world really put into their decisions, into their game. The awareness, like they're just aware of everything.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like the majority of poker players in that spot are just, they're weighing their decision between call and fold. They can't ever raise, and they're not really locked in on getting the read from their opponent.
So he's counting them out every single time. He's counting them out.
He counted out a raise multiple times.
And then while he's counting it out, he's looking, and he probably saw something indicating weakness in this guy. Just being like, this guy's full of shit.
Yeah, something that indicated weakness to him.
Like one of those times he counted it out, the guy did something where
he thought the guy was uncomfortable.
It's fucking crazy. Like that.
Once he got that read, then he just called.
So I think on the first episode we broke down that clip where you had that insane fold where you had queen 10 pair, and you sort of figured out that the guy had something that was going to beat that, right? You had 2 pair with queens and 10s.
Yeah.
And you figured out that the guy, I believe, what did he have, like a flush or a straight to beat you with?
He rivered the nut straight. I mean, it was a spot where he either has the nut straight, or he has, like a couple other holdings. That's about it.
Did you do that in that situation? Did you count out the raise a few times just to try to figure out what this guy was working with?
No. No, I mean I was staring down. I was staring him down, but no, I didn't put that into play in that spot. It was pretty. It was pretty obvious to me that he had like one of 3 hands.
It's like King Jack, Ace Jack.
King Jack, Ace Jack, Jack 9 maybe. That's about it.
Sick.
Maybe King. But I don't know if King's check turn, and he check turn. But King's probably just call the river. Like they don't have to turn their hand into a bluff. But yeah, I think it was like one of 3 hands, and it just he felt pretty strong. So, and the raise was very large. And I was up a lot. So
he got kind of greedy, right? He put in like $100,000 raise.
He made it a little too big, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also like a really, good sizing if you're bluffing.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous sizing, but it could be good because it could get you to fold in a situation where you otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah, it applies so much pressure that, he got me to fold top 2. So if he has Ace Jack, he just owns me.
Yeah. But he didn't.
Not that time.
Not that time. Well, let's break down that second clip. Let's dig in there because this is actually a situation where there's some shit going down here.
You get in the gym a lot. I see on your Instagram. You're out there working
What a
out.
mix.
You're right. I can't talk. I'm super hypocritical.
Hit us with the full screen if you don't mind.
So how much, unrelated, how much can you bench?
Dude, I tanked like 10 minutes in this
I mean,
game. We
I'm
got to
a
fast
walker,
forward that.
and
Yeah,
I'm
well,
a
we can get right
pickleball
through
player.
it.
I know
I think
Lawrence goes to the gym.
I was drinking and
play
Pickleball's so much
So you
fun.
were. So there's a lot
Actually,
going on with
it's
JC in this
I
clip.
would say
First of all, he is
it's,
receiving a
an underrated
massage
game, but now
and he's
everyone's playing
drinking
it,
red
so
wine,
can't
which
do
is
that anymore.
Austin just recognized
Wasn't
as
completely
per
locked
capita
in.
the most pickleball players of any city
Oh
in
my
the
God, I
United
didn't know
States.
that. That's cool.
Very. And Lodge has about 80 people, Lodge employees and members.
We're talking
that
about
we are
pickleball.
in a
Nobody
Telegram
gives a
group
fuck.
and we play pickleball.
I love that. It's a great community.
this is going to be forever.
Oh, Corey.
Okay,
with
well,
Ace King
we'll,
here
we'll
facing
go a little bit
3-bet
forward.
From,
So-
T1000's Ace Jack offsuit.
So we can just mute it and keep talking while we're going.
You earned it.
So break it down. What's going on here?
This is a hand with a
What's that,
YouTube
1500 from Corey?
a
Yeah.
YouTuber named Corey Ewing. He I don't know
Said
how
he-
long he's played poker.
This guy
but
doesn't like you.
So it comes down to just the
pretty
two
young.
of us.
Pretty young fella. He has a big YouTube channel. He aspiring poker pro, I think.
JC's getting a fucking elbow into his back right there. What brings on the floor massage? Like, what makes you decide to get that mid round? You just get a little tense
Back
and you're like, I
at
gotta
it,
loosen
these
up.
two.
Knots in my
The
back.
legend,
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Corey
Feels
Eyring
good.
and T1000.
Nice. I like her tattoos. Well, okay.
And
So
Corey
here
has
we go.
held over
2100 in the pot.
T1000
Yeah, he
all
4-bets me.
streams so far.
And I just want to play pots with this guy.
So you get in there.
This time,
Yeah.
Wha-bam.
T1000 makes the call, and we're
There
going
we
to see
go.
a flop. Already 3,200 in the skillet.
And we get an unfavorable flop
There's
here.
the ace
Oh,
for both
wow.
players.
There we go.
We both
Corey
flop
in
top pair.
great shape.
So you check there.
Yeah,
Really
well,
like
he
the
has a
best
betting
flop
lead.
ever for
So he
Corey.
4-bet
It
pre.
would just be a nightmare.
So you think
if
he's got
Jack were to
something
come
good?
for him.
Uh,
But T1000
sure,
would be
he
just
has a
licking
lot
his
of
lips.
strong hands in his 4-betting range. But I mean, he can have some. He can have
He's
some
gonna
big cards
down-bet
too
it.
that don't hit this board
Is that
he might want to rep.
350?
By the way, whoever
Yeah,
edited
3K?
this YouTube video did
350,
not
yeah, very
100%
small
cut
bet.
out any of you
A little
thinking about
milky
whether or not
better.
you were going to call her folds. There's legitimately a
T1000
5-minute
does
break
not
in
fall
there where
for it,
you're just like
makes the
thinking
call,
about it.
looking
Yeah.
for a
Like, this
hook.
is the most boring fucking YouTube video I've ever watched.
Yeah, I need to fast forward
Nobody
this.
with
Okay,
a
so here we go. We
club
get the
there.
five. Doesn't
no, the
change.
hand's pretty basic. We check call flop, check
on
call
a 3
turn.
club board.
And then the river, I think he goes all in, and
And that may slow some of the action down.
I felt like I beat a couple of
A lot of people in the chat rooting for a Jack.
a couple of hands, and
Max Payne from the chat.
there's like some queens with a club and kings with a club that might go ham.
Post flop,
Here we go. We got the flop down.
3,800. It's going to go larger. Going to go 2,300 into
Unfazed.
38.
Face glued to the
It's like
back of his chair.
2,400.
Massage going down.
I used to do, I guess it's still pretty fun, but everything I did was Instagram. I was like one of the first like IG people.
T1000 says that's enough for the massage.
He shuts down the
Maybe
massage.
adding
Not a
one more.
good sign. Is that a big tell? And ending the massage.
No,
Pausing until after
San
this
wanted a massage, so
Like, it was so.
I was only borrowing her.
I know, I think it's super ironic.
Oh wait, they didn't
He's
custom
thinking.
do that after the.
It's just
I think there's like a button you can fast forward like 15
Wait,
seconds.
hold on. She's
Looking
about
like
to say
a
something.
stone right there.
I'd give anything to be in T1000's head right now, I will say.
All right, let's get in T1000's head right now. What's going down?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about the couple hands that he
You'll
could be
also
doing
notice
this that I
if
have beat.
T1000 does
Um,
make this call,
I think this
Corey's
hand's
left
pretty
himself with a
punty.
very jammable
So,
amount on certain
This
rivers.
isn't my finest hour.
The SPR
but,
under 1 if he does make the call.
T1000 makes
I mean, the call on the turn's
Biggest
not
pot of the
outrageous.
day,
The river calls
86.95. The
kinda
river
pretty
fades
bad,
the
but-
jack.
So here
Corey
we
with
go.
the check mark.
Also,
T1000.
oh my gosh, he has ace king. Slick Rick, he
Right
has
here,
ace
right
king.
now. Absolutely
You
locked
know what
in.
that means?
Yes,
A little
redemption.
Corey's got it in the
vengeance
bag.
here.
This is the hand that he folded. All right,
Corey
so
played this hand really well,
T1000.
and he deserves all the value.
Can he find
and
the
a full double up.
jam?
I believe he might have.
And what will
Seems like a young kid. You know how
Yeah,
old he is?
He does.
Yeah, I think he's like 22, 23.
Wow.
Maybe it was not pro.
Um,
It was like content creator for them.
But yeah, historically, like I've only played with him once or twice before this, and he's
1000 does
been pretty
check
passive
Corey.
and scared.
Deciding.
And
do I
so
just wanna
that kind of
take
went
it to
into
showdown here? There are 3 clubs
my
out there.
decision making this hand, where
There's a board pair out there.
I felt like he was more polarized,
Or do you want to go
to
for some value here?
meaning like he either had nothing or like a monster hand like king queen
You
of
wanna
clubs
be
or
able to all
Oh, he
in.
does
or
go for it.
sometimes even
He goes
aces full,
all
even though
in.
it's highly unlikely.
And
So
there's
here
a
he
smile.
goes.
Gonna ask
All
for a
in.
count.
His
Do we
tendencies
know
in the
what Corey
his
Ireland's
tendencies
biggest pot ever
before
is?
or in the
over
past when I played with him were to
I do not think
play
so.
pretty
I think this might
passive
be the
and
biggest part of his life.
like pot control a lot. So like
Although
I
I'm
thought
not too
that
sure.
I didn't think
Either
that he
way,
would bet
it's gotta be
a
up
bigger
there.
ace all 3 streets.
Massive spot. T1000 with the
And,
smile. So
And I think he's
mischievous. I
been
love
doing
it.
some
I
studying
love
or
how Corey
some-
is
little
sip of the
some
red wine. Here we go.
yeah, I think he's growing as a player, and so he knew that he, especially versus me and a guy that plays a ton of hands, he could get 3 streets of value with just ace king here.
Ah.
So like yeah, like all the credit to him this
What do
hand.
you
He
think,
played it
Chad?
really
Will
well.
T1000 make this call.
So
One if
you're
he
thinking
calls,
about
2
it.
if he
I think you
folds.
think for a while on this one.
Yeah, I mean,
What's going through your head? Like, are you just trying to figure out what he's got? Are you fucking around with the chips, trying to see?
yeah, it is. I mean, it is a good. Like my hand is pretty face up here. It seems just like an ace. And so if he does have some sort of like
Ace 3 or something?
no, like a pair with a club. So like
Looking
jacks,
at his
queens,
neck,
kings with
can
one
you
club.
see the pulsing going
You can
through
take that
Corey
hand
Irings,
and
playing one of the biggest pots of his life.
go ham with it. Like if you have kings with the
Let's
king of
listen
clubs
in.
here, and your opponent has like ace queen a lot, ace jack a lot, maybe ace 10 suited, you can apply tons of pressure
Bluff catcher.
by going all 3 streets and ripping the river.
If he makes his call,
So that would
it's
be
over 20,000.
like a really great play.
Yeah.
And that's kind of really all I beat. I think in hindsight, I probably
The only hands I can really beat are
I probably
queens and kings
should
with
have
a club.
folded pre-flop or turn.
Okay. And then what do you think the solver would say to do here?
I don't fucking study the
You don't
solvers.
sol-
No.
Okay. No. Okay. Sorry.
I don't
It's a good- It's a
know.
good question. I don't know.
I think he plays those that way.
I'm not a nerd.
I'm not a fucking nerd. Who gives a fuck with the?
I just look at the man and know what he's got.
Yeah. Who cares what the gay computer has to say?
Ocho?
I don't give a fuck. Take my stuffed animal and get the
why-
fuck out of here.
Why am I holding a stuffed animal?
'Cause-
Let me put on my hoodie and think for
'cause
10
you're
minutes
fucking
about
hammered
making
and
a
you're getting
horrible
a
play.
massage.
Hold on, I gotta put on my hoodie.
Clock.
I gotta take everybody's fucking time, and then punt away $5,800.
I'm gonna jump ahead. What is 6 minutes? I believe.
Yeah.
And we're still in the hands. Give the video a second to catch up.
Makes
You
the
got the-
call.
Wait.
And Corey Iring is going to win
Go back
the
for 1
biggest
sec.
pot.
There, JC said something pretty funny right there. Hold on.
Corey praying for a call here.
Makes the call.
Wow.
And Corey Iring is going to win the biggest pot of his life.
Wow.
Got him.
Over $20,000.
Got him.
With Ace King.
Redemption for Corey Iring at the Lodge Mahal.
He's fucking jacked
Corey,
up,
take a
dude.
breath, man.
Go back to Dallas.
Yeah, he's like, can I get the fuck out of here now? So I think that's the biggest part of his life. I love this kid. Like,
Yeah.
I see so much of myself in him, and I've been through all the experiences that he's going through right now. Constantly going broke, having like your fucking neck on the line in every game of poker you play.
Yeah.
Every single time you sit down, it's like it's a nerve-wracking experience where, like, if you leave a winner, you feel like you're on top of the mountain, you're on top of the world, like everything's great. And then if you lose, you feel like you're just down in the
devastated.
dumps. It's devastating. But that, like, you know, that's how poker is in the beginning a lot. I mean, there's a lucky few that are extremely talented and have great bankroll management that kind of like cruise up the rankings smoothly. But I mean, even then, like poker, the variance in poker hits everyone, and you go through these swings that just make you question everything. But yeah, so like I've been in all these spots that he's been in, like these nerve-wracking spots, and then it's relative. Like when I'm playing super big, like it gives me those feelings again of you know, excitement and the nerves and you know, how much is at risk, and it's just cool to see that and now like they're documenting it all. So like these kids are starting their YouTube channels, and they're
only a few years in when they're starting.
Yeah, they're documenting everything. That's how he's pretty big in the poker world. He basically just turned all these kids' stories into it. We all like share similar stories of betting our net worths in poker tournaments or poker cash games, and in the lifestyle. And he's just documenting the whole thing and putting it on YouTube, and it's exploded.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very interesting to people. Like I have some really old vlogs up from when I was 2 years into stand-up, like running around the Bay, driving out, doing all these gigs in random places. And I feel like people dug it because no one wants to put that out there, you know? Like it's really rare for somebody to want to be like, okay, I'm 2 years in, I'm eating it out in like San Mateo, California, and I'm going to put it on YouTube. Do we want to do it? Do we want to break down my first comedy club set?
You have it?
So Brandon, look up Joe Begley Dangerfields. So this set is, there it is. Oh boy.
This is your first show?
Yeah, so this is not my first show, but this is, I'll set the stage a little bit. This is February 12th,
is
2018.
Is this you or a 17-year-old chick?
That's not nice. Don't say that. That's a beautiful man right there. First of all, a couple things we need to note about what's going on here. This is February 12th, 2018. So at this point, I have been doing stand-up for under 11 months. So I'm brand fucking new. And what happened was I started in Boston. Then I went abroad for a little bit. When I came back, I kind of got stuck in Connecticut. And a guy named Julius Donat hit me up to do a bringer show at Dangerfields in New York. So like a bringer show is basically you have to bring a certain number of people to perform and you don't get paid. So I wish I could explain this fucking concept to every comic that hits me up.
So
for a
you
spot.
had to bring people.
I have to bring people
in order to get the stage time.
Exactly, because you're at a certain point in stand-up where like you're
not that good.
You don't add anything to the show. There's no reason for you to be on the show because you are not funny enough to make the show funnier, and you're not a draw that brings people into the crowd. So they're better off with somebody else on stage. So the only way that you're going to get on the stage is to bring somebody in. So
it's like like you gotta bring value.
100%. And I don't run any bringer shows. I refuse to do them at this stage in the game. But
are we gonna see why?
Yeah. Well, no. The reason I don't run any bringer shows is because I don't really want to put some dude in a position where I'm like, hey, you can be on my show, but you got to get 10 paying customers here. So basically, the dude is donating $250 to you in exchange for doing the spot. I'd rather book a fucking killer.
They're just gonna be bad too.
100%.
Like the 10 people they bring will never be worth how bad the show becomes when you have 6 of those people on the lineup. It'll just suck. 60 people are there. Show still sucks.
So it's just it's 30 minutes of bombing.
Yeah, just bad comics like holding their friends hostage.
Yeah.
So another thing that happens too is I'm doing 7 minutes on this show, which at this point is one of the longer spots I've ever done in my entire life.
7 minutes?
7 minutes. So I'm doing 7
7
minutes.
minutes of hell.
And the thing is, the show, they're trying to get as many people to do the bringer spots as possible.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll have like a great host and then they'll have like a ringer at the end. But in the middle, there's like 15 people that have signed up for the bringer spots that have brought friends. There's like 15 bad comics in the middle of the show. That's like 90 minutes of the show, just fucking eating it. So little note about this club. This club, Dangerfield's, recently reopened as Rodney's. But at this point, it's a fucking crime that they gutted the inside of it. I don't know if they had to, but this is where the stand-up scenes in Joker were filmed. This is the original Dangerfield's. Rodney's locker room is intact in the bottom. It's original staff, original like setup of the club. And there's an original member of the staff that was there on opening night that was there. He recently passed away. He was 86 years old as a waiter in the club, which goes really well. When you're sitting there and you hear somebody in the audience, they're like, I'd like a gin and tonic. And he's like, what? It's just being screamed out into the abyss. So let's do it. Let's break it down.
Guys, what the fuck is up? This is my first time in New York City. Let's go.
Hold on, pause for 1 second. I have 2 really bad habits at this point in my life, which is when I'm nervous, I pace. And when I'm nervous, the New England accent gets stronger.
Ooh.
So it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, the pacing's already started.
The pacing has started. We are paused, and I am not in frame.
8 seconds in.
This is not good. All right, here we go.
Hell yeah. Have you guys ever said good morning to somebody at the liquor store? Because that's about where my life is at. I used to be all excited about drinking. You know, I was in college. Be like, bro, I can drink 12 beers and not even get a buzz. Now I'm like, bro, I drink 12 beers and I don't even get a buzz anymore.
I'm really glad that I've grown out of my drinking material.
Like, oh yeah, one drink doesn't do anything for me. And I'm like, one drink does something for me. It staves off the shakes, you know?
Dude, you gotta bring this accent back.
Dude, the accent is crazy.
I love it.
It feels like I'm watching someone I don't know.
Yeah, it's a different guy. That's
my life is headed. I wish somebody would give me some like good life advice along the way, you know?
You look like you're on heroin.
Life advice I wish I'd gotten about a week ago. Joe, don't add your parents on Snapchat. Because you're going to send them a dick pic entitled Thinking of You.
That's a good bit.
It's not bad.
Dad and Dan is only one letter away. Mistakes happen.
That's a good bit.
Not bad.
Yeah, man. I don't know how I feel about myself, but I certainly love this fucking country. That's for sure, man. I just came back from Vermont, and I stopped at Nancy's Video and Ammunition. Like, goddamn right. Where else in the world can you get shotguns, shells, and Finding Nemo on DVD?
I like this show.
Not bad.
To be honest, I feel like that's a little bit prejudiced, though. You think just because somebody's got a gun, they still want a fucking DVD player? Like, fuck you, Nancy. I still got Netflix, bitch. I don't know why.
We're trying
that Southern
accents.
accent. He lives in Vermont. But yeah, man, guns are crazy. I'm definitely not the kind of guy that's like, let's arm every teacher. But when you see homeboy walking up with a rifle case, can we at least lock the fucking doors, please?
School shooting joke, bad idea. I don't even remember that joke.
Yeah, I got a decent amount of self-hatred going on. Like, certainly got a little bit, but I've never hated myself as much as 200,000 people in this country certainly do. And what I'm referring to with those 200,000 people are the people that have signed up to go to Mars. Elon Musk wants to send people to Mars, and 200,000 people have signed up. Like, I've been like, fuck this city, I gotta get out of here. I'm like, fuck this state, gotta go. I've even said fuck the country and left before. But at no point in my life have I ever been like, fuck Earth. Like, fuck the only suitable environment for life in the known universe.
I like that tag.
He's not doing bad.
This is the best set I've ever seen you have, dude.
Fuck off,
I think
guys.
he's got to bring this guy back.
Yeah, let's get this
Dude,
act
you've
back.
fucking gotten way worse. this show's funny.
Bring the accent back. Get the hair back.
Yeah, do more drugs.
Yeah.
Lose a little weight. I need to see the puffiness, like the gray circles under your eyes. I want those back.
Well, it's because it's February in New England.
You're kind of
and,
like
the ISO on this camera is very high.
this is like your Edward Cullen stage, and like the paleness and you're kind of like have this like doom and gloom sadness behind your eyes.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was struggling.
Yeah, you seem like healthy and happy now. I don't
You don't
get
like it. We
No.
need to start doing
No, you're
cocaine.
not. Yeah.
I need to start doing cocaine again.
You need to start doing drugs and get sad. That's where the funny happens.
No, dude, I think I actually do the best at stand-up when I'm not miserable. Truly.
Yeah,
I think when I'm depressed, I suck. I'm so bad at stand-up when I'm depressed.
No, you're clearly have gotten a little bit better since then.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Since this set.
Yeah. Is that what decide?
11 months in.
It's pretty good.
I think you're pretty good. Yeah. These are some good bits.
Yeah, there's a lot of comics that I know have been like 4 years in and are significantly worse. So, I had a question. Who's like your favorite comics back then? Because I feel like early on we imitate them, and I'm curious to hear who your favorites were.
All right, this is pretty unsurprising, but Burr. So like
Yeah.
the New England accent creeps in pretty heavy. Stanhope. I was listening to a lot of Hedberg.
That's what I was waiting to see if you said, because I was
Yeah.
like very Hedberg.
Very Hedberg. So I've kind of like, I feel like I've ditched this entire like, just like boom, boom, set up, punch, set up, punch. Instead, I've just decided to tell no jokes at all, and just ramble about scooters for an hour. But yeah, dude, I kind of like was having a pretty good time back then. You know,
I wouldn't classify this as bombing. I think this is like people are having a good time. They're laughing.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of awkward silence.
Well, so one thing that I for sure have going for my advantage at this show is because it's a bringer show, there's a bunch of people who've never really been to live stand-up before. So like when people come out to shows in Austin, they've been to like so many people that have been to 10 comedy shows in the last year. So they have like a standard set in their head. So a lot of people in the audience have never been to a show, and they've watched a bunch of other people that are also doing bringer spots just fucking eat it. I mean, there are some comics that were on these shows where you're like, dude, you should not do stand-up fucking ever.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
I have some videos of me doing comedy that would give you that impression.
Should we do a breakdown of those?
Dude, they're my first ever sets. I mean, I've only done like 40, 45 open mics, and I have like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 videos of it. Like they're like 2 to 3 minutes, and it's so bad.
So I
It's
feel
so
like
bad.
for episode 100,
It's so hard to watch.
Episode 100, we'll break down me playing poker and you doing comedy, and we'll
Yeah.
see who does worse. We'll see. I feel like I have an advantage though because I'm studying, I'm learning.
Yeah, I do have I have a bit about this, and it's like I haven't done comedy in like a year, so I'm starting to forget my bits. But it goes like oh my god, I fucking forgot it. But it's so much fucking worse when you for comedy, because it's like if it goes poorly or like you're bombing, it's like people don't like you for who you are.
Yeah.
Like if you play poker, it's like, oh, you don't know how to play poker. But when you do comedy, it's like, oh, like you're talking as a human being.
Yeah.
And you suck.
Yeah.
So it's like the bit I wrote was like something about something about comedy being like, oh, you just don't like me for who I am, or like, because when someone bombs, it's not like watching somebody miss a 3-point shot.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's like you hate the person for who they are.
Yeah.
It's like, you suck. Like, as a human being, you're terrible, and I wish you would just shut up right now or get off the stage. Like, please stop talking. You know, I've gone to, you know, hundreds of open mics and watched people, and it's just, you know, you just and then you get up there and then you do it, and it's the same thing. You know how bad you're bombing.
Dude, it's wild, like, how much the pressure of being on stage can just, like, change your entire personality, right? Like, you'll get somebody, I'll never fucking forget, we were at the, I host the Lucky Duck open mic.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Dude, I do it as punishment to myself once every 6 months. I just go in and host it. And it's truly horrific. Like, it's crazy. There's drunk people all over the place, and this dude was like, he's in the audience. Every comic, he's going, "You suck," and he's just like chiming in on everything. Flamboyantly gay. And I go, "What's your name?" He's like, "Danny." And I'm like, "Danny." I go, he's like, "JC." John Christian Templeton is my name. But he goes, he's doing this thing. He's like, "Yas,"
and he's
shut
snapping
up.
Every time he talks.
Snapping, going "Yas Queen" on people, doing all this shit. And I go, "You're very funny." I go, "You're very funny, but if you don't stop, I'm going to put you on stage." And he's like, "No, don't do that. I don't need to go up. It's my birthday." And he's just like doing all this shit. He's fucking hammered. He's heckling everybody. And eventually, I go, Danny, what's your last name?" And so eventually,
you announce him.
He just keeps going. And I go, "Guys, you know, this next comic, I've been listening to him all night. He's so funny. Please give it up from the audience, Danny." And then Danny gets up there and he's like, "I'm not even kidding. In the same way that being on stage making me nervous gave me a Boston accent, he went straight. It sucked the gay out of him. It was fucking crazy. He gets on stage, he's just like, "Hey, dude,
guys."
He's like, "I don't know what's really happening." And you're like, "Whoa,
whoa, Danny, what happened to the spirit fingers?"
The spirit fingers and the gayness just got sucked out of him.
Yeah.
You're like, "Whoa, dude."
The first time I ever got up, my first set ever, I'd been writing jokes for like a year and a half, and Maddie convinced me to go up. I took a couple shots. I grabbed the mic, and I've forgotten every single joke I'd ever written, and I went completely blank.
It's terrifying.
And then adrenaline took over, and I talked out of my ass for 3.5, 4 minutes, and the woman, it was at upstairs off of Dirty at Shakespeare's. The Shakespeare's?
Yeah.
Yeah. The woman had to grab the mic like your time's up. Like, I went over my time.
Whoa.
Blacked out. Didn't know what I was saying.
So to this day, on almost every set I do, unless it's literally like no stakes or I'm just feeling great, I always have like a note card or something in my back pocket with some sort of set list or an idea written down, just so on the off chance my brain goes and just shuts down.
You have like a pole to grab.
I have something. I have, like, it's like jumping out of an airplane. I know, like, okay, I have my parachute, but 1 out of every 1,000 times, the parachute's, for whatever reason, it's not going to fucking open, and I need to land on the ground. I can't just go like, but the difference is, it's like, dude, you can just get the yips. You get the yips like it's a ball getting hit to second base. You got to throw it to first, and for whatever reason, you just can't do it that time.
Yeah. God, this is making me want to go back to my bits and start writing again.
Let's do it. Let's watch 1 more minute of me eating it at Dangerfields.
Yeah.
That's crazy. People don't make any sense for me. But like, I want to talk about some people that I really hate in this country. People that eat taco salads.
This is my closer.
The fucking arrogance, man. Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna crunch something up into little pieces and somehow it's gonna make it healthier for me. How is that a salad? Like, if I applied that logic to my own life, I think I'd be dead. Guys, I'm not doing cocaine this weekend. I'm gonna do a cocaine salad. I'm gonna chop that shit up extra fine. and I should make it through the weekend without so much as a hangover. Bitch.
Cocaine salad, classic.
You guys hear we got the first openly gay figure skater on the team? Yeah, first openly gay Olympian we've ever had. People are shocked. I don't get it personally. What would shock me is the first openly straight figure skater.
Yeah. Oh, that came out of left field.
Look, Mom, I know you've been strapping me in spandex since I was a little boy, but I love pussy. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can go through with this whole thing.
God, the head
Look,
burst.
I gotta refer to the notes here. I'm sorry to do this. It's because I don't respect you guys as an audience. Yeah, man, I like to mess with cops every now and again, you know? When I get pulled over, I keep a little rock salt in my car. Right as the cop rolls up, I take a little bit, I roll down the window, and I just sprinkle some right out.
That would have been a better
Like, what are you trying to get rid of?
connection
I'm like,
after your
February,
cocaine salad.
man.
Instead of throwing in the gay figure skater.
There we go. Yeah, I didn't really get the idea of grouping bits into related
Yeah,
sections.
I don't know.
It's like
You went cocaine,
And
figure skating, back to cocaine.
That is a funny moment though, as a comic though, when you do figure it out, and you're like,
I can put those together.
I should just talk about it all at once.
Oh.
It makes sense.
Maybe I should do the sports jokes together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I do baseball, and I like cocaine and baseball again.
I think the bit that I wrote was something about like the thing I love about comedy, or the great thing about comedy is if it doesn't go well, it's just because you guys don't like me as a person.
Yeah, it's not because I'm bad at this. It's because you hate me.
It's just because you guys don't like me as a human being.
I've gone on stage, and genuinely the reason the audience hasn't liked me before is because I just have been too me. You know what I mean? I let a little bit too much Begley out that night.
This is way better than I expected.
Thank you.
Yeah, like you're a fucking good comedian.
Thank you, bro.
11 months in, these are some great bits.
Got the American Eagle t-shirt on and everything. I'm ready to fucking rip. Brought out my nicest deep V for the occasion.
Nicest graphic tee.
The figure skater bit's trash, but there's some good ones in there.